It is party time, Mom. Welcome to another episode of the Chad Prather Show here in the Mothership, which is Studio 22. I'm glad you guys are tuning in. You guys are doing so good about coming over to YouTube and watching, and you're also doing pretty good about listening where podcasts are offered. Thank you for doing that. But you know what? This podcast is not going to grow if you don't tell people about it. It's just going to be the same folks that are out there enjoying all this awesomeness, which is the Chad Prather Show, all of the fun people we have on here. Your friends need to know about this, and some of your non-friends need to know about it too, because we are guaranteed to trigger them just as much as we possibly can. Oh, we love to trigger people. It's not like we really want to offend anybody. We just want to stir the pot and let you lick the stick. You know what I'm saying? And don't you just want to do that these days? Is there not somebody out there that just needs to hear the wild, crazy common sense we put out here? We got a big show for you today. I have my friend Catalina Lauf, who is coming on the show. She's actually running for Congress in her district in Illinois. If she's elected to Congress, she'll beat AOC as the youngest congressperson that's ever been elected. And I think that'd just be pretty cool. She's pretty sharp, and you're going to enjoy getting to know her. Of course, we're going to have Hot News Natalie on the show. Party Foul Steve's on here. I want to tell everybody, we got a little thing going on right now where if you'll go over to theblaze.com or if you go to shopblazemedia.com/Chad, you can buy all kind of merch that has my name on it and Party Time Mom. And we got our F the Left shirts that triggered everybody. I think we sold like 50 of those over a period of 2 days. And I can't wait to have people just start sending me pictures of their F the Left shirts. It stands for Forgive the Left. It really does. And don't let your why would you let your mind go into these crazy places? It's party time, Mom. Stay horned. But we're going to have a good time today hanging out here in Studio 22. Yes, I'm hatless. Shut up. I just didn't feel like wearing a hat today. And yes, for those of you wondering, there's a little bit of hair up there. Kind of look like a dirty Q-tip. You know what I mean? Look at it. Bam, 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 bam. The Puppet Master Mark is sitting over there driving this new mothership, which is Studio 22. And, of course, we got Candice, the queen of the Ethiopians, and we're going to get into all wild and nonsense. Candice, I want you to get the microphone over there to your face. I want to ask you about something.
Yes.
Now, Catalina Lauf, she's Hispanic. She's Latina. Mm-hmm. She's from Guatemala. Her parents migrated here legally, became citizens. Incredible story that you're going to hear today. I just want to know why you're not achieving more as a queen of the Ethiopians, you know, and just, do you have any thoughts on that, Candice? No?
You know, I run this show for you, Chad.
Look at you. Yes, you do. You tell me what to think. You tell me what to say. You collect all kind of information from me to make me look smart.
So if I'm not achieving, enough, maybe you're holding me back?
I could be. But you're not going anywhere, I can tell you that. People love... Can we please do a Candice Queen of the Ethiopians t-shirt? It must be done.
A life of suppression is what I'm living.
A life of suppression. I love it. You is that because you're female or Hispanic? We don't even know that you're Hispanic.
It's a constant mystery that I'm not going to answer right now because we're working towards a 23andMe sponsorship. And if they'd like to sponsor the show, I will reveal what I am.
That's right. Listen, 23andMe, you want a sponsorship on the Chad Prather Show? We'll give you the love. You can swab our cheeks week in and week out. We can do Match.com. We can do Grindr. Listen, we already have Party Foul Steve running his fingers through his hair on every episode. We'll do Grindr. Do you think, there has got to be some gay men out there ready to snap up Party Foul Steve, just ready to snap him up, just ready to chloroform him, at a club somewhere, while the, and he's just all, disoriented by the Japanese anime disco lights and stuff, and he's already feeling euphoric from, all the coffee he drinks, and then you just come up there and drop a roofie in his drink, and boom, there he is. He's all yours for the night. Party Foul Steve.
Isn't that how you guys met?
Well, I saved him. I rescued him. I rescued him from the clutches of human trafficking. I did. You didn't know that there is a market, Candice, for middle-aged men to be kidnapped and taken away. Usually they wake up in a bathtub full of ice somewhere in a dirty hotel in New Orleans with their kidneys missing. But in Steve's case, he is a sexual monster. He really is. I mean, if you've ever seen him and really paid attention to him, he is a sexual monster. Just God broke the mold. So Grindr, if you're listening, hey, we got a sponsorship place for you. I don't understand why these guys out there, Candice, I listen to conservative radio all the time. We need the MyPillow dude. Mike Lindell. Come on, dude. Holler at a boy. Mike Lindell did so much crack that his own drug dealers had an intervention for him. Now that's a freaking story right there. Mike Lindell, My Pillow. We need like I could totally be the next ShamWow guy. Look at my nuts. You remember that? The slap chop, chuk, 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 and he holds it out. Look at my nuts. Like we could totally do that. But wait, there's more. Why are we not doing this? We could be QVC. We could have so many sponsors. People think we get rich off of doing this show. We don't get rich. We do this for free, man.
Well, for 4 easy installments of $19.99, you can be the owner of Chad Prather merch.
You could. I feel like I'm a Mystery Science Theater 3000. You know, we're stuck on the ship, so all we can do is just sit around here and talk about stuff that's going on. And now they're bringing in a potential congressperson in Catalina Lauf. She's going to tell us about the things that are going on out in the free world of America. Can't wait to get to that conversation, which is what we're going to do right now. Thank you for tuning in. We love you. Hang tight, and we'll be right back. We're gonna have some fun today. We have fun every day, but we're gonna have a lot of fun today. It's gonna be fun, informative. You're gonna enjoy this because you're gonna meet somebody today that you really need to know. And I'm telling you, you're gonna jump on her bandwagon, and you're gonna be so excited that this human being even exists and is doing what she's doing that you're not gonna be able to shut up about it. So, before we get into that, first of all, you know who's the king of getting free stuff is Party Foul Steve. You get stuff sent to you all the time, don't you?
A daily basis.
I mean, do you now just like the other day? I had my truck, Natalie. My truck was parked in front of his house, and I had my car, and I had left it over there. Mm-hmm. And he was upset because my truck was blocking his mailbox. And he was like, you've got to come move the truck because the mail will not deliver if there's a truck sitting here. And I'm like, when did you become so important that daily mail matters? And that's the deal. You're getting stuff all the time.
Yeah, I get stuff sent from all over the country because I have fans.
Okay.
You know, some people love me.
Yeah. Send your hate mail to steve@watchchad.com, okay?
Every letter I've received on that has been good stuff.
Positive.
Yeah.
I'll tell you,
it's titled hate mail.
Now, this isn't free, but you can go to shopblazemedia.com/Chad, use promo code Chad10, and guess what you can do? You can buy some of our merch. Like, for instance, he's wearing the Unapologetic Patriot shirt over there. It ain't free, but you will get 10% off on something like that. I've stopped getting a lot of free stuff in just because I'm like, it was like too much. Like, people send you all these things, like hats and T-shirts and all these things, and then you just got tons of them, and I got a big old head, so the the hats don't fit anyway.
But they can send rent checks. I'll take those too. So
they never want to send cash. That's part of the deal. But I will tell you about a deal that is going to change your life. Imagine you're watching your favorite show on, say, Netflix or something like that, and right in that episode, it's right in the middle of a giant cliffhanger, and boom, your Wi-Fi goes out. Well, here's the thing. Trust me, been there, done that. That's why I've got Eero, E-E-R-O, so now I can actually binge watch from any room in my house. Listen, upstairs at my house, in the, quote, media room, it was like a black hole with my Wi-Fi. But I got Eero, and I don't have that problem anymore. Now it's the man cave I always wanted. Now, before we got Eero, kids had to do their homework, huddled in the kitchen by a fire like Abraham Lincoln, writing their math on a shovel head and stuff like that. But nope, Eero changed all of that. They fixed it all because we got the right kind of Wi-Fi now. It is the Wi-Fi your home deserves. And there's an all-new Eero starting at just $99. It will blanket your entire home with fast, reliable Wi-Fi, eliminating poor coverage, dead spots, and buffering. You'll have a consistently strong signal wherever you need it. It's going to set up in just minutes, plug right into your modem or your router box, and you manage it from just a very simple app right there on your phone. App's going to let you pause the Wi-Fi for dinner. How would you like to be able to do that when your kids are in there? You don't even know what they're doing in the bedroom. Just boom, pause the Wi-Fi. They'll come to the table. You're going to get alerts if any device attempts to join your network. No more buffering on your streaming services in the master bedroom. No more kids complaining that their Xbox isn't getting signal. No more worrying that your security camera will be offline when you need it. Eero's the deal you need. It's fixed all of your lagging FaceTime calls, your dead Wi-Fi zones in the house, and buffering time. Get yours fixed as soon as tomorrow. Go to Eero, EERO.com/WatchChad. Enter code WatchChad at the checkout. You're going to get free overnight shipping with your order. That's EERO.com/WatchChad. Use code WatchChad. Remember, Eero. E-E-R-O. It's not a euro you eat, Steve. This is Wi-Fi.
Oh, okay.
That's G-Y-R-O. This is EERO.com/WatchChad. Use promo code WatchChad at checkout. Catalina! Pronounce your last name.
Lauf.
Lauf.
Yeah.
It's Lauf.
Lauf.
It looks like laugh. Like it could be laugh.
Yeah.
Lauf.
Yeah.
But what a great last name.
Yeah,
I just love
thank
saying
you.
the name Catalina.
Oh, thank you.
I know. And I'm throwing accent in it that I don't
Yeah.
deserve. Like as a redneck from Georgia, I have no right whatsoever to throw any accent in. It's like calling somebody from France Henri, and it's just Henry.
No,
You know-
your Latin spin is good.
Oh,
I like it.
Don't you worry about all that. No, Catalina. I like it. So I'm glad you're sitting down here with us today and hanging out. You flew in this morning.
Yes, bright and early.
Yeah. Well, you look all fresh and spry and all that stuff.
Thank you.
You're doing something pretty amazing. Now, first of all, how old are you?
26.
26 years
Yeah.
old. 26 years old. And you're running for Congress.
Yep.
In Illinois.
Yes.
And if you're elected, you will be the youngest congressperson ever elected to the House of Representatives.
Yes.
Let me tell you something. You know why that matters? Because right now, you know who holds the record? Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. And I just don't want her holding any records. I don't want her holding any records.
I know.
How
I'm going
does
to take
that-
it back from her.
I know. How does that make you feel about all of that, though?
If elected, I'd obviously be honored.
Yeah.
And it's more of why I'm doing this. It's not about to beat a record. It's to serve the country in the way that, to be a public servant. And that excites me more than breaking a record.
Now, give us a little bit of your history, because you've got some history with the Trump administration.
Yeah.
And let's talk about that.
Sure. I was appointed to the Department of Commerce in 2018 as a political appointee, and worked on primarily Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, Opportunity Zone, just really being an ambassador for the America First agenda. And that was the first time that I really saw just how much this administration is working so hard for the everyday American. And we need to continue that progress.
Now, you mean to tell me that you are a Hispanic woman
Yes.
working for the Trump administration, and you didn't feel marginalized or there was no prejudice against you or anything like that? I mean, contrary to what the world of social media would have us believe, how were you welcomed into that administration?
With open arms. I think everybody who works for the administration that supports the president are patriots.
Yeah.
I mean, we're just everyday Americans that want to help out, and I felt more marginalized for being a Trump Republican than ever being Hispanic in DC. So,
Do you think, Steve, like at this stage in the game, do you feel like an underachiever?
Oh, already.
Yeah.
It doesn't take much.
It really doesn't take much. That's why I love having people like Catalina on this show. I love it.
oh no.
I love it just so we can make Steve feel guilty.
That's right. And it kind of boosts your IQ by having me here.
Look at him trying. But that's amazing what you're doing. I mean, like how much have you caught a lot of flack for doing this? Because I know there's a lot of ageism that goes into things. I was running organizations when I was in my early and mid 20s, and you have people that are just like, well, why would we listen to you? Why would we respect you at your age?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think we live in such an era now where millennials are disrupting every industry, right? I mean, you have millennials that are building billion-dollar businesses now. We're game changers. And I think that there's such a need for younger people in office now that even the older generation is just so happy that younger people want to get involved in the public service type of route. And so honestly, it's been more positive than I ever thought. And I really think it's because of the age that we live in, the era.
I think people are excited to see a younger generation get involved with things like this.
Yeah.
I really do.
We need it. I mean, when you have people like AOC and the young people on the other side that are talking about socialism. Well, what is our country going to look like in 20, 30 years from now? We need to preserve the American dream. We need to preserve conservative principles and going back to what our founding fathers wanted.
Yeah.
And if we don't have people to carry the torch for that, well, then our country's lost.
Yeah. Sitting down here, if you're just tuning in with Catalina Lauf, and she is running, she's not, so just to be clear, those of you, we're talking about her not unseating AOC. She's not in competition with AOC here. And I like the point that you made on that. She's running out of the state of Illinois, which is, I would have to think, a pretty uphill climb in regards to the state. How is that area for you?
So the state itself obviously is notorious to be a Democratic powerhouse, but and especially at the state level. But in the district, it was actually a district that President Trump won by 4 points. It's a conservative Republican at heart, and so to have a Democrat in like Lauren Underwood, who's very, very far socialist, she's fundamentally not representing the values of a district like that. So we have an amazing opportunity here to flip it back and at least try to make change. And I hope that from flipping it back from a national perspective, we're actually doing work on a local perspective, because that's what's important. You know, your states are what matters, the communities are what matter, and the more that conservatives can flip these districts back and continue on conservative principles, then we're making change small, but then on an entire national perspective too.
Yeah. And coming from a family, we'll get into this more because I want you to tell the story. Coming from a family of legal immigrants in Guatemala, it's an exciting story. But I want you to make me a couple of promises, okay? If you get elected, first of all, I don't care if you do videos on Instagram or live feed videos. I don't care if you do that. But just make sure that the apartment you live in, if you buy IKEA furniture, you put it all together. Okay, that you actually have furniture in your house, unlike AOC. All right, first of all. I also don't marry your brother. I don't even know if you have a brother, but don't go find one to marry. Okay, don't pull an Ilana Omar. Don't what, Steve?
I'm waiting my turn. Go ahead.
Don't throw Israel under the bus because you claim that you have a Meemaw back in Palestine, like Rashida Tlaib. You see the point I'm trying to make? When you look at this stuff, it's crazy.
And it all comes back to, we need to preserve the American character. When you have elected people like that who are just so divisive and are trying to create this narrative all for Instagram and all for the social media, well, that's not public service, right? We need to reestablish integrity in our public servants, and I hope to do
so
that.
the congressional rep that's in your district right now, Underwood, right? Okay, now what has she done? Can you tell me? And maybe it's done a lot. But what, in your opinion, what has she done for the constituents in that district? Has she done anything?
Not a whole lot. And I think on top of that, she's actually put recently, there was a bill that was going to be passed on. She puts illegal immigrants before the veteran community, before our constituents. And I think especially when you're talking about all the issues that are going on in a national perspective, when you have a representative who is buying into the political game of the party, like the Democrats are doing right now, going against Trump, talking about impeachment. Well, they're so out of touch with their districts. They're not looking at what is actually going on in the community. What are the kitchen table issues that everyday Americans in a district like ours or districts across the country are who actually care about? What do they care about? And I think that's a huge problem too, when you have people who are playing way too much on the party politics and trying to capture on a media narrative that's so out of touch. And that's not the way it should be. That's not what representative democracy is about. Yeah,
that's been a big issue for me, because I look at these people who they've been given such a platform to have such a voice, and I'm looking at their communities and the areas that have elected them. I'm like, what are you doing for the people who put you in office? It just doesn't seem to be anything. I mean, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is down on the border, and she's crying at fences and, staring across and out in this so-called outrage. And like, you're from Queens. Like, what's the deal here? And you're a family who came from legal immigrants, and then you have to see this stuff, and you got to just shake your head that's going on. Tell us your story a little bit about your family.
Sure. So my mom, my grandmother and my mom and that side of the family came here in the 80s from Guatemala. And for anybody who doesn't know, what Guatemala is all about, it's a very corrupt country. It's almost third world Latin American country. And they survived all of that, and they built what they had. They try to be somebody down there, but obviously because of the political issues down there, there was no sense of being able to achieve any sort of dream, right? There's a very huge level of class warfare. You have the rich and obviously the poor, and there's the middle class is very small. And so when they saw a country like the United States that offered so much an opportunity, and with hard work you can be whoever you want to be, well, that's an amazing place to want to strive to get to. And so when they came here, my mom worked 3 jobs. She learned English, and she was so grateful that there was a country that she could go to, away from the political instability of where she was coming from. And so because of just who she was, and my grandmother at 8 years old had to work on a coffee farm because their family didn't have money, right? Like, they know what struggle is. And I think a lot of children and a lot of people who've come here legally, they know what hardship is. And a lot of everyday Americans know what hardship is. And they had so much gratitude for the United States. They were happy to be Americans. And when you talk about the border and AOC down there, well, it's sad that there's not enough of that gratitude anymore. We're in an era where people are entitled to come here. They're incentivized to come here illegally a lot of the times. And we're taking away what made America great and what makes it a country that people want to strive to get to.
You have people you mentioned that make the thing that keeps America great or makes America great. A lot of people get offended by that terminology these days because they say, well, America was never great.
Oh.
But that just makes me mad. I mean, that irritates me when people say that, because the fact that you can even complain about that shows you how great America is.
Absolutely.
And I was listening to a lady on a radio call-in program the other day she'd immigrated from Guatemala, as a matter of fact.
Oh, wow.
And she had come here. She had migrated legally. She had become a citizen. And the host of the show said, look, I know how hard it is to do. And she said, it really wasn't that hard. She said there was a process.
Right.
But at the end of it, it was worth it. Mm-hmm. When you consider what I got for it, what I received as becoming an American citizen, it wasn't that hard. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there are people who have done everything they can to get to this country.
Right.
And I can't say that I blame them for that, because America is a great country.
It is.
If we weren't great, why would they come?
Right. And we need to be unapologetically patriotic. Like, we should love America. And I think it was a really scary time where, when we talk about what people are getting yelled at for wearing, flags on their shirts and just loving this country. Well, what is wrong with that? Like, we should not be silenced. We should love this country.
Yeah. I mean, why? I mean, how dare you be proud of America? Look at you, Steve, unapologetic patriot. I mean, what's wrong with you?
100%.
Why would you wear that?
And I raise little patriots too.
Good.
What kind of pushback do you get being 26, Hispanic, conservative, Republican, parents, mom is an immigrant.
Yeah.
What kind of pushback are you getting that now that you've gone public with this?
It's interesting.
From either side.
Yeah, I get a lot of, oh, you're a race traitor, that you're just anything that they can find. But what's great is that because nobody can put me in this box, and because I'm breaking this narrative, it's whatever they say, it doesn't matter, because it's just who I am, right? And the left wants so badly to have this stereotype of that if you are Hispanic, if you're a female, if you're young, then you should be Democrat, and then if you're not, you're bullied into it. Well, I love the fact that I'm conservative, and I'm not gonna apologize for it. And so I think there's a lot of that on the party side. I think there's always going to be that divide of the career politicians and then the disruptors, right? And so I get a lot of, well, you're not falling in line or wait your turn type of thing. And I'm sorry, like, no, I'm not going to wait my turn. This is the time for disruption to happen in the political space. And clearly the career politicians aren't doing their job effectively if the fact that we've come to where we are today. And so it's time that patriots step forward and we disrupt the system.
Yeah. Listen here, Illinois, you got to get behind this girl. Let me tell you something. Steve, this is why you and I don't run for politics. We waited too long. So you got to do it young.
Got to do it young.
Got to do it young before the skeletons start piling up. Yeah, too many things going on. Yeah, unmute yourself over there.
Sorry, there's too many things you can dig up on Chad Prather.
Too many things. One
Way
little
too many
knuckle.
things to dig up on him.
One little knuckle of a big toe sticks out from underneath that skeleton toe sticks out from under that closet, and I'm like, nope, shut the door. Shut the door. I can't do it. Should have done it when I was 26. I'm telling you. Should have done it when I was 26. Don't look at me with those dead eyes, Steve Powell. I couldn't do it. Like people ask me all the time to run for something, and I'm like, no, I can't do it because I'm too outspoken, right? And I feel like that to go into an elected office, it could hinder me in some ways. Do you ever feel like that?
Yes, but I think people want authenticity now, right? I mean, we're in this era where there's so much transparency now in politics between social media, between, and President Trump really kind of disrupted that space in a lot of ways of being so transparent, speaking his mind. And I think people crave that, right? And I think it's more of this is the time to do that because we need to reestablish that type of integrity. Yeah. People shouldn't just be suited up in this ivory tower, for lack of a better word, right? It should be everyday representatives, and you should speak your mind because then the constituents understand that you understand what their everyday struggle is.
I look at Washington D.C. and I don't know how much time you've spent in Washington D.C. Personally. But it really is just a trashy place. Like, I mean, there's just it's just where the scum goes to thrive. You know what I'm saying? And then you meet folks like yourself, and part of me wants to go, don't do it. Don't do it. Because you do have integrity and you do have a patriotic drive, and it is an American first platform. You've been through some things, but then there's another part of me that says, hell yeah, take it to them.
Yeah.
Go up there and use that platform and do what you've got to do. Because for me, age is just a number. Age, I mean, I don't even worry about that. And you mentioned something either about, that people want to put you in a box, and that's true. We live in an age of labels.
Right.
And so if I can put you in a box and categorize you, put a label on it, then put that box on the shelf, then I'm like, I don't have to deal with her.
Right.
I know what she is. She's 26 years old. She's Latina. She's blah, blah, blah. She's conservative. I don't have to deal with her.
Right.
She believes this, this, and this, and this. Nope, she's in that box. I don't want to deal with Catalina anymore.
Well, and I think it's great to have younger people in office too, because look, there's a lot of personal sacrifice that I've given up and to do this, and in terms of career, and I don't want to be a career politician. You do your time, you serve, and you try to give back in the way that you think that you can. And this thing of career politicians, and it's not the way it should be.
Agreed. You graduated. Your degree is from Miami of Ohio.
Yes.
What did you major in? You went and got an associate's degree, and then you went.
Yes.
In Miami of Ohio, which is great school.
Thank you. It was I loved Miami of Ohio. I did political science and communications.
Good. It's way better than AOC's economics degree from Boston University.
Yeah.
Which that girl can't even count money. Do you ever look at her? Do you ever feel sympathetic for her? Or are you like, nah, this is the bed you made?
I feel sorry that she doesn't understand capitalism, because there is so much that is so detrimental about her policies, and not only her policies, but her rhetoric, that just, it's almost self-destructive.
Yeah. Yeah. You think she's a one-term representative?
I hope so.
Well, I think we all hope so.
Yeah.
But it's like Nancy Pelosi said, a glass of water on the Democratic ticket could have gotten elected in that district. So who knows? Yeah. And then you go online, you see people who just love her. I mean, they just love her. And they think that she just hung the moon. And I'm like, are y'all idiots? I mean, like, this is just the stuff that comes out is just craziness. It's pure craziness. So I will see what happens. We live in some interesting political times, but I'll tell you the encouraging thing, and people need to remember this, because they want to sell off this, and generations have always done this. It's always the next generation's the problem.
Yeah.
You crazy kids.
Right.
You know, you crazy kids, y'all don't know any better. Get off my lawn. You know, the whole thing. But that's the deal. Don't write off the next generation, because there are men and women that are out there like yourself who are coming along. You're outspoken, you're educated, you're intelligent, you've got a lot of wisdom even for your age, and you're not afraid to go out and be outspoken and speak your convictions, and the convictions are good.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, a lot from a policy standpoint, there's so much that is going to affect our generation and generations to come, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think again, it should be solved by young people who want to serve and understand the policies and economics and so again, that's why younger people should be in office, because it's going to affect our generation and generations to come a lot more than it is for the baby boomers.
Yeah.
You know, they had their time, and it's
Well, I
time
mean,
to
you know
carry
the world's
torch.
going to end in like 11 or 12 years anyway
Yeah.
with climate
Climate.
change.
Oh God, climate change.
So,
And eat babies.
I mean, you won't even make it to 40. I mean, you're doomed already, so you're not going to make it. I mean, when you hear stuff like that, you just cringe.
It's ridiculous. But the fact that it is even a narrative in the media and people are even talking about it, well, what about things that actually matter, like our taxes and immigration reform and healthcare reform? Like, let's go back to the things that matter. And that's why, again, the AOC and the squads of the world are so detrimental, because they're dominating a narrative and they're creating the policy narrative. When
Yeah.
again, that's not kitchen table issues, right? Like when you go to a district, that's not what people care about. Of course, people want to care. They care about the environment, but these things are just so, they're not what should be prioritized.
Yeah. I've never met anybody that wanted the environment to crash. I've never met anybody that wanted to live in a landfill. I've never met anybody that wants the earth to be destroyed, or children to die,
Right.
or floods and famines and tsunamis and, you know, locusts and frogs and hailstorms from God. I've never met anybody that wants all those things. We all care about the planet we live on. But this whole idea where now it's almost become planet worship. And this whole thing has gotten weird. But on the flip side, to your point, you notice if you watch a Democratic debate, they never discuss the economy.
Right.
They can't, because they'd have to give Trump credit.
Right, because it's doing too well. Exactly.
There's nothing to debate there.
Right.
So if you're going to pick problems, you're picking this ethereal problem that we can't even verify scientifically.
Right. And that's the issue, though, too, is that what it becomes is it's a massive spending. That it's because they want to increase taxes. It's because they're willing to bet an entire economy, people's hard-earned money on something that cannot be completely backed up, right?
Yeah.
And that is the scary part. And that's their whole focus, is just how they're going to spend other people's money and how we're going to slap regulation.
Yeah.
And that's just how they solve problems. And that is, when you look at something like the economy and what Donald Trump has done, well, that's quantifiable, right? Like you look at job numbers, you look at unemployment rates, you look at how companies are doing, you look at how businesses can thrive in a free market, less regulation, less tax environment. You can actually put numbers on that.
Yeah.
Democrats cannot put numbers on what they want to achieve, right?
Yeah.
They just want to spend the numbers.
Well, a perfect example, you know, our annual budget in this country is about $4 trillion. They want Medicare for all, which would cost $36 trillion.
Right.
The Green New Deal, we're talking $90 trillion or more. I mean, what are we even? That's not qualifiable. It's not quantifiable. It doesn't make any sense. It's illogical.
Right.
And so, to your point, you're exactly right on that. Let's talk about the things that exist. And I will give you some numbers. Barack and Michelle Obama just bought a $15 million 8-bedroom house on the coast of Martha's Vineyard. So if the tides are rising, they're in trouble.
God.
It's lunacy, and I'm glad you're doing what you're doing.
Thank you. I'm
Catalina Lauf. Do you go by Catalina?
Yeah.
Nobody calls you Cat? Lena?
People.
Do you have
People call me
siblings?
Kat. Yes, I have an older sister.
Got an older sister. Okay,
Yeah.
so there you go. She will not be pulling an Ilhan Omar.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Catalina, what changes, what policies do you want to see different in Illinois? What's important to you? What do you see that needs to be changed sooner than later?
Illinois is so far gone as a state. We are so just bloated in debt. And there's a huge pension crisis, things at the state level that fundamentally need to be solved. However, I think on a larger scale, it's more on what people in districts care about, again, are, immigration reform, healthcare reform, things that we can actually try to achieve to fix, that again aren't being fixed because there's so much gridlock, there's so much attacking that's happening from all different sides. People are going against the president, but then also just lowering taxes. Let's add accountability to government, right? Like, there are so many different departments, agencies that are being spent on people's hard-earned money. So just going back to a place where we're going fiscally conservative, solving the actual issues that are problems and challenges today, and coming to the table in a bipartisan way.
I like it. I'm pulling for you.
Thanks.
I am. I'm pulling for you big time. You got our support 100%. I wish we could we'll send Steve up to Illinois. Steve can move into your district and vote.
I don't think I can bring my guns up there, can I?
Mm-mm.
Got to buy
Well,
FOID
if
cards.
Catalina has anything to say about it.
Yeah.
I appreciate that there's just a level of self-responsibility that doesn't exist anymore, that you don't have to be self-responsible. And that is something that is slowly trickling away. And knowing where you came from, you weren't handed a silver spoon.
No.
You've fought to be where you are. You're a perfect example. I think everybody in this room, nobody grew up as a Trump. So, you know what I mean? Like that some things you're blessed with, and they're doing great things with that. You weren't handed that silver spoon, and you're still doing great and amazing things.
Oh, thank you.
So that's important.
Where can people find you? How can they learn more about everything you've got going on, and how can they support you?
Yeah, head to CatalinaForCongress.com. I'm on at Catalina Lauf.
And that is Catalina with a C, as you can see right there on the ski. If you're listening, it's Catalina, Catalina, Catalina for Congress.
And at Catalina Lauf on Twitter and Instagram.
Yeah, I'm following you today.
Oh, okay.
I'm following her today.
Thanks.
Do I get a follow back from the future Congresswoman from
course.
Illinois?
Of
Good.
course.
Absolutely.
We'll take a selfie after this.
Yeah,
too.
we will.
Even that.
Yeah, we will. I'll put the cowboy hat back on. People will be arguing, why aren't you wearing the cowboy hat? I just don't feel like putting a hat on today.
Oh.
You look good without it.
It's because you got a haircut and you look.
Yes.
Just shake out my locks. Yeah. Sorry, Catalina. I've always wanted to just shake out my locks around a congresswoman from Illinois. There it is. Look at Steve. Look at him.
Oh, wow.
You've got to stop running your fingers through your hair, dude.
They love it.
Your hair's going to fall out if you keep putting
my fan base loves me. So
but there's so many of your friends who don't.
Ain't worried about them.
I think Catalina has a good point because, you said it's too late for you to run and you don't want to. But look, you're one of those people that even if they dug up all that stuff, you'd be like, yeah, I did it.
I'd own it.
I
would.
I still make mistakes. But I think that she's exactly right. That's what people want these days because ain't nobody perfect. We've all made stupid choices.
Of course.
Yeah, here's the thing. Even as a public figure hosting a show, look, there's plenty of people who'll watch this show, see this show, and they're like, it's Chad. Like they get it. And I'm like, yeah, okay. Look, I've come out. We've done multiple television shows. When we were doing Humor Me, sitting there talking about all the crazy stuff I used to do, and I'm like, I mean, thank God people grow up. That's the deal.
Well, and people are human, right? Yep. And you're getting voted on your ideas and what you're going to change in the policy, not on your, personal life.
Oh, Donald Trump's a perfect example. Mm-hmm. People love the fact that Donald Trump was a billionaire playboy, that a mogul that was rapped about by every rapper that's out there. They loved him. Everybody wanted to be Donald Trump. Yeah. That was the goal. I want to be a billionaire. Anyway, I mean, that's
so
bad.
Including the Fresh Prince.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, come on. Everybody wants to be. Now that song's going to be in your head all day. Party time, Mom. That's the whole thing. Everybody want to be Don. Everybody want to be Don Trump.
No politician has ever been my moral compass. I'm going to go straight to the Lord for that one.
At what point in time did anyone ever start looking to politicians as, hey, we want our kids to grow up and be, because that was the deal. You never trusted a politician, right? You never trusted a politician. That was the deal. These days, I think we are looking for a moral, at least for me, it's always been, I appreciate this study in leadership that's out there, because while they are representatives here to serve the people that put them in office, they are to perform as leaders, because as the representative, they're the ones who are dictating and the policy, and at least dictating is a bad word, but they're the ones who are legislating and they're the policy makers. So the leadership is a thing that matters, even though they are servant leaders.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you're a voice to hundreds of thousands of people in a district, you need to have a powerful voice, right? You need to be a leader, because that's what people are looking for in a representative democracy, and it should be servant leadership.
Yeah.
And because that's how the best things thrive, right? When you're putting your people first, you're putting the things that matter. That's how any organization thrives, whether that's in business or in politics, and we need to go back to that. That needs to be the forefront and the guiding light to anybody who wants to run for office. It's not to be in Congress to be in Congress for the accolade. You're doing it to be a public servant.
Right.
And that's what matters.
That's the perspective. And I can tell you, I'm thankful for what you're doing. We'll pray for what you're doing. I promise you, because 2020 is going to heat up. It's going to be a fun little journey for you. I know that.
Yeah.
There's going to be plenty of days you're going to wake up and you're going to be like,
Yeah.
But
we've got your back.
I'm ready for it.
We've got your back.
Thank you.
We
I'm
do.
ready for it.
You're always welcome here, and we're glad that you came on with us. And so go to CatalinaForCongress.com, check her out. And if you're in Illinois, do everything you can to support her. I mean, I'm telling you, you got to do it. And without, at the risk of sounding condescending, I'm proud of you. I don't mean that in any condescending way. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of what you're doing, and you light up a room when you walk into it. And I think you'll do no different in the House of Representatives. So God bless you.
That means so much.
All right. Hey, find me at watchchad.com, Steve at partyfoundation.com. Natalie's not doing anything significant with her life, and of course you can go to CatalinaForCongress.com.
Open a gun range.
Yeah, well, that's true.
Well, that's my husband.
Well, but it's still going to be great.
that.
You guys are going to be, you talk about Trump, y'all are going to be made of money. The Texas gun experience is going to be huge. They're opening a machine gun range.
That's incredible. I mean,
Yeah.
and to take it back to the Trump family and being a billionaire, like that's what makes America amazing.
Yeah.
Like you start coming from a family of small business owners, like that's how you achieve the American dream.
Right.
Small businesses are the backbone of our economy.
Amen.
And you can be whoever you want to be because you're working hard, you're passionate about something, and that's, people shouldn't be jealous of that. They should strive to be that.
That's exactly right. The gun, we're opening up the gun range, but they've had a retail gun store. Their dad started it 35 years ago, and now it's expanding. That's a perfect example of the American dream.
Yep.
Absolutely. That growth, this feeds community, and let's focus on that. Let's make companies like yours thrive, so that you can get to that point one day. I mean, that's capitalism.
Fist bump. There it is. Bam, fist bump. All right, hey, we're going to get out of here. We love y'all. Candice, the queen of the Ethiopians, the puppet master Mark, hanging out over there. Candice's giving me the stink eye because she knows we got to go. Are you giving me the stink eye? You're thinking bad thoughts, aren't you? I can get your head so fast. Why aren't you running for office? Come on, Candice.
Underachiever.
You're Hispanic. Do something. So we think. We don't even know if you're Hispanic or not.
We're going to keep that guessing.
I
Just
know.
A constant
That's
question.
why we call her the queen of the Ethiopians. We don't know. She's from somewhere. Her family's from. Candace, you could do this. You could do this. Come on. Candace, we know there's no skeletons in your closet. There's not even clothing in your closet.
Whoa.
I don't even know what that means, but whatever.
I don't either.
I'm just
That
saying
was
the
odd.
closet's empty. That's all. That's all I'm saying.
No
The closet.
skeletons, just cartilage.
Yeah, cartilage. It's a little flesh in there. Yeah.
Good save. Good save.
Anyway, all right, we're going to get out of here. Hey, listen, we appreciate you guys tuning in. Go where podcasts are offered. Leave us a rating and a review. We only accept 5 stars because this is America and we don't accept anything less. Go find some merch. Get on the shop, blazemedia.com/Chad. You can use promo code Chad10. You can get some of that good stuff. And find us out on the road. We love you. God bless. We'll talk to you next time.